twice, don't think it's love. We taking sides like Andrew Love. Tell the corners, come and pick them up. I'm a big dog, was a little punk.
What's good, everyone? Welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to do the text pop-up effect that you've just seen in the clip before this. And so without further ado, I'm going to get straight into it. So the first thing you want to do is find a clip where, it has clear lyrics that you want to do. And you can see, the head doesn't move too much, so it's going to be easy to put the text next to the head. Here I have this clip.
Come and pick them up.
So I'm going to use the lyrics where it says pick 'em up, right? And so the first thing you're going to want to do is create a little slow-mo zoom in effect, right? So you're going to want to, get your velocity thing, keyframe it, right where it starts to say pick 'em up, right here.
Pick 'em up.
And so I'm just going to set this to 25.
Pick 'em up. Pick 'em up.
Right, maybe a little something bigger, like 50.
Pick 'em up.
And I'm going to pre-compose it. I'm just going to name this slow-mo. Right, you can also add the lyrics to pick 'em up. You can really just name it whatever, it doesn't really matter. And the next thing you want to do is add Mocha AE by BCC. Make sure your composition is set to full resolution, and then click this Mocha thing. It's going to say Mocha starting. It's going to open up this little panel, right? And so here it looks pretty complicated, right? It's a different interface than you're used to, but all you're going to want to do is just click this little pen tool right here and make a real rough sketch around the guy's head. You can pretty much just trace your mouse around his head while clicking repeatedly. And then when you want to close it out, click here and then right click. Now you're going to want to come here to where it says track, and then hit this track thing right here. And it should just go through, trying its best to track it. And as you can see, it's not perfect at all. So you're going to want to come to the spot where it goes off, right, right around here, and then just fix these things and put them back to where they should be. Chances are it won't make that big of a deal, right? The difference isn't going to be insane, but just for the sake of making this as good of an effect as possible, it's best that you try to make it super precise and just make it clean. You don't want it to be too sloppy. And so once you fixed it, hit the track thing again, and now as you can see, it's pretty much good. So you're going to hit Control S to save it and just close out. You want to take this tracking data thing and hit create tracking data, click OK, and then you're going to want to right click on your composition, go over to new and hit null object, right? Then you can just trim it to the length of your clip, and then you're going to come here to the Mocha AE on your clip, export option, hit transform, layer export to, select your null, hit apply export. And now if you click on your null and hit U, as you can see, the null is tracked to the guy's head. So you can really just come here to where you want the effect to start. Just trim it like that, because this is all we really need. And you're going to want to create your first text layer, right? So here we can just isolate it and type in the text that you want. Pick a nice font. I like using Impact. It's nice and bold. It's really good for text effects. And you can, reselect here and just move it to the place where you want it to be tracked. Alright, and then create all the layers you want. Alright, you want to make it all the same size, you can play around with like font size. But at the end of the day, as long as you do the effect like relatively well, the sizes won't really matter. As long as it just, as long as you're satisfied with the effect, it should look good. Right, it should look something like that. And once you have that down, you're going to want to start doing the transitions. So the first effect you're going to want to add for the transitions is Sapphire's Dissolve Blur. You're going to want to keyframe it, set it to 100, and then go 3 frames forward from where it appears. So 1, 2, 3, and then set it to 0. The next effect you want to add is Blur Motion Curves, right? And then set it to like -1000. Keyframe it. Just bring this keyframe back here, and then set it to 0. So it's going to look like it's coming in with like a blur. And then you're going to want to copy these effects, and then cut each layer to where it comes in, so it starts by saying pick. And then it says him like around here. So I'm going to cut the him layer here, and just paste the keyframes. Right, you may want to play around with this thing to make it come in from like a different angle. So I'm going to come down here, have it come in from the bottom, and then cut your last layer here, paste it again, and then keyframe the shifts again, bring it back to 0, and now you have your text coming in where you want it to. Alright, so the next thing you want to do is pre-compose all the different texts. Alright, and now you have it as one layer. Come here to where it says parent and link, take this little squiggly thing and drag it to the null. Right, and so now it's tracked to the guy's head. Now we can start working on how we want it to look. So the best effects to put on text are drop shadow and a glow. Right, so I recommend having like a subtle glow, something like this, with more like size than intensity, and having a slight backdrop, making it very like blurry, not too strong, something like that. And now you have this. Right. So that's basically an effect on its own. But if the subject's like kind of far from the camera, as you can see here, you can make the camera pan in. So create an adjustment layer, crop it to your text, and then add blur motion curves, and then take this center thing and then keyframe it so that it like kind of follows the guy's head. His head doesn't move much here, so that's good for us. And you're just going to want to take the Z distance, come to the end, and then like zoom in on where you want it to be, and then take the keyframes and then set it to like a fast fade so that it looks like it's like zooming quick. Like that. And the next thing you're going to want to add, just to sort of transition into it, is a little bit of a blur. So I want to take like a lens blur, right? Maybe like a couple frames before the effect starts. Keyframe it to something like this. You turn up the gamma if you want. And then just make it sort of like go on and off to like right here. Like a little lens blur, like flicker effect. Play around with the settings. You don't want it to be too blurry, so you can still like read the text, but you just want it to be like a little thing, so it like transitions into it. And the last thing you're going to want to do is add your flicker on top of everything. I recommend using these kinds of settings. Decrease the frequency a decent amount, and then have the amplitude keyframe in to something like 0.5.
And pick 'em up, and pick 'em up, and pick 'em up.
And then keyframe down toward the end.
And pick 'em up, and pick 'em up.
And you can set all these to easy ease by selecting them all and hitting F9.
And pick 'em up, and pick 'em up.
And there you have your effect. You can always transition out of it with, like, you know, just a zoom out or a zoom in or a little flash. It's up to you. You know, it's not too big of a deal. I'm just gonna show you guys how to do one real quick. Just get a blur and levels effect, keyframe the histogram, keyframe the iris scale, go back like 3 frames, right? And then in the middle, you know, just scroll down input white until it's around here, and turn up the iris scale to like 15, and then go a few frames forward, 0, set this back to 255.
I'm a big dog, I'm a big dog.
And yeah, there you have it. It's a really clean, really simple, quick effect that you can do for your music videos. It fits into any sort of style, and it looks nice, simple, but you know, it just looks like quality. You can tell that someone's a good editor when they do something like this. If you did enjoy, do be sure to leave a like, subscribe. Any other tutorials you want to do, something that looks like this, just let me know in the comments. Join my Discord, tell me there, and I'll see you guys in the next one.